All right, so Ralph Havens here, and this is Miracles, Magic, and Coffee Show, a special edition. So I've got Silky here, and we're going to talk about what I think is some of the most important stuff ever. So we'll get right into meeting her in just a minute. And as I was talking with her before we went live, I was realizing more and more how important what Silky does is how important it is right now. And we actually had an experience last night where I was like, what happened? And, you know, we were visiting some friends and they're going through some really hard times right now. Money-wise, they're okay. They're good. But I won't give details because it's private, but questions about like what to do about school, because we live in a state where there's lots of those new rules now, and it's like really hard on the kids. And I was looking at a statistic on one of the news shows that we look at, the High Wire, and they were showing that suicide ER visits are up 50.9% in the US among 12 to 17-year-olds. And in Australia, they were saying it's up 99%. And so right now, I think we're at a point in history that's very critical, literally critical. And a lot of families are being faced with a lot of stuff that they never thought they'd have to be faced with. And some is what to do with their kids. Like, you know, how do you want to educate them? And some of the things that used to seem just like, well, this is just how we do it. Everybody does it this way, you know, they're being taken off the table for a lot of families. And there's a lot of fear and anxiety and worry and concern. And Silky's got something for us, and she's got a great story. So I always want to get right into it and just say thank you, Silky, for being on. And yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Can you just introduce yourself a little bit and like tell us who you are, and I want to get right into your story, because I think that can help a lot of it. So who is Silky Weeks? Give me a little.
Okay, well, Silky Weeks was born in Germany a long time ago. And
the galaxy far away.
Yeah, that's right. And I came to England when I was 17. I worked in a hotel, and then I fell in love with England, and I decided to become a teacher. So I went to Brighton University and studied 4 years, and I became a primary school teacher. And then I found a job in Brighton, and I taught primary school children. So I had my first class, and yeah, I loved it. I loved my job. And then the years passed, and I found the love of my life. And sadly, we only had few years, 3.5 years. And then suddenly he just tragically, from one minute to the next, beamed up, as I call it. He had to leave this planet. And so I then went through my own grieving process, really trying lots of methods to heal myself. So that's how I came across Christy Marie. I came across theta. So I started healing myself that way. The journey, I did lots of different modalities. And really it was through my own healing journey that I then wanted to work more therapeutically with children. So then my head teacher at the time gave me this wonderful opportunity to go into schools and work with children on a therapeutic level, in groups, on a one-to-one. So I'm also a qualified reflexologist. So I did their feet, but then I did lots of other things and I had lots of successes. So that is, and then obviously COVID happened. So I did that for very many years, over 10 years.
Well, this is interesting, because I want to check in with you for a minute, because that's interesting, because I don't know if that's even allowed in the United States to like work on little children's feet and work on them therapeutically in a school setting. That's pretty cool that you were able to do that.
Yes, yes. And I'm very, very lucky. I've worked with fantastic head teachers who, because I went through a few schools, at 3 on my books. And so I just went to them and they were very open. So it's always depends on a head teacher in England. So it's probably
Public
very
schools?
different in the States.
Public schools or private schools?
No, this is public schools.
Wow, how
So they're
cool.
just very open to yoga, to reflexology, to lots of meditation, you know. So I even had parents meditate.
Wow,
So,
how cool. So yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your husband. And then it started you on this journey of not just teaching children, but a lot of self-healing.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
How did
yeah.
the children like that?
Well, they loved it, and actually, do you know, they got so good that actually I lost my cat one day, and I remember this lovely little boy, and he said he wasn't very self-aware, but he became much more self-aware by working with me and doing various other tools. And he said, "You're very sad, Mrs. Weeks. You know what you need to do? You just need to breathe out that sad emotion, put it in a football and kick it far, far away." So
Wow.
I thought, oh, wow, some of my tools have gone in. And this was a child who was very, very closed emotionally.
Wow. That is wonderful. So you started down this journey of helping children, and you were a teacher and you were also a healer for children. Wow, lucky, lucky kids, and you and families. What were some of the things you saw during those days? I mean, you can't discuss private stuff of
Mm.
the children and stuff, but what were some of the things you saw? I mean, that's one super cool thing of the football. What changed for some of these kids, or what did you notice?
Well, because I worked actually in lots of different schools. So one of the schools that I worked in was children with difficult behaviors, you know,
Oh,
where they really kick you and, you know, kick the staff, and all sorts of very, you know, very disturbed children from very difficult backgrounds.
yeah.
So I had one little boy, I remember, and he would try and find me in the corridor and say, is it my time? Is it my turn? And he would
Wow.
just rush in and he would just, you know, take his feet and just put them, come on, you know. He couldn't wait for me to get started, because that was the only time when he really found some calm, some relaxation, you know. And really it was touch that was positive for the
Yeah.
first time in his life, you know, where otherwise it was lots of hitting, lots of violence. So that was the one time that was positive touch.
Wow. Oh my God. Isn't that amazing? Something just as simple as touch like that, and then
Mm,
skilled touch like the reflexology,
mm,
and a heart. Like you had you weren't just like mechanically doing something to some little boy. There was some energetic thing happening. We all know it when you're like with somebody that cares about you, and
yeah.
somebody's brushing your hair, or rubbing your back, doing something, and that's really quite unique and interesting. They'd probably say it's against the law here these days to like have somebody touching a child. They get so weird about all these different things, yet some of the
Oh,
stuff
okay.
they ask children to do is
Yeah.
just crazy. Wow. So how recently have you been doing that sort of thing? Like when was it, is that still going on? Is it something you're still doing, or
That ended 2014. So for the last, from then till now, I've been doing, so I left that school then, and then I was in other schools. Then I became freelance, because when I did that, I actually was teaching and doing, the one-to-one work, therapeutic work in that school, but that finished then. So because I decided to become freelance.
did something happen that made you decide to go freelance?
Yeah, I think well, just because I just wanted to change. And also when you work in that very intense environment, they actually say you can only do that for about 4 years. That's the average, between 3-4 years. And then really, because it's so intensive, you're a bit worn out by then, or I was at that stage, and I wasn't that energetically evolved at that stage. So
Oh,
that's why I needed a change.
even with all those wonderful changes and helping kids, and it's like it
Yeah.
still was taking its toll on you.
Yeah, I just felt I wanted to do something else. It was time to go. Yeah, for lots of different reasons.
And so then what happened? Then what did you do?
Well, then I did do work with this wonderful head teacher who decided that who was very open with meditation and yoga, and she wanted me to work on a one-to-one with children who needed help. So lots of children with special needs. Children who had lots of anxiety. So I treated children with anxieties. I treated children who had a lot of problems at birth. So a whole kind of spectrum of children that she wanted me to work with. And that was really exciting.
That's so cool. Did you learn that because of your inner work dealing with your husband's loss, and then going to all those healers that you went to, or how did you learn to do this?
Well, because I'm from my own healing journey, because I went through the grief, but so I had a lot of children who were grieving as well. It's interesting what the universe gives you.
Yeah.
I had, by that time I had learned energy work, so lots of different tools that I had learned, and visualization, so NLP. So I was able to work with the children in that way as well while I'm doing the reflexology. So I combined a lot of tools.
Wow, how wonderful. And so you were stepping out on your own, and you had this other person that was having you help with some of these kids that had pretty big challenges. That's cool. And you were doing it freelancing. What do you think drove you to want to do this with kids? Like, why was that your thing? What did you want to accomplish? Or how did you get there?
Yeah, well, because I could see the differences. I could really, once I started working and had that opportunity, it was just so amazing to see how they transformed, because they had tools all of a sudden. They had tools and they could use them, and they would come up, oh, I've used this tool that you given me, last Friday, oh, and now this happened in my life, and and wow, I feel so much better. And, my mum wants to learn this as well. And I've been teaching my mum.
Wow. Wow. Man, oh man, is this needed? Yesterday we were coming back from visiting some families, and we thought it was going really well. We were in the neighborhood just walking through in the middle of the night, and it was fun and all. And my little boy came up, and real quickly he's on this one thing that he's studying and doing, and I saw him, and he was already on the computer, and it was like 10 o'clock at night practically. And I just said, I was short, but I wasn't mean, and I didn't mean to be mean, but I said, let's go to bed. No, you can't do that now. But I wasn't mean, but he took it as mean, and it really hurt him, and he got all teary-eyed, and then I went in his room, and it's like, that was a disaster, because he always wants to look happy, and I was like, oh God, how did I just ruin this perfectly good night? And this morning he was still just a little, and I'm like, oh God. And it's like, when you think of helping your own kids, and you see stuff that's like, what the heck just happened? He's at summer camp, some sort of summer camp right now for a week, so that'll help a lot. And he gets to sleep here. But if there was a way to like combine summer camp and some of the stuff that you do to make it really fun. He's very energetic. He's been to all the matrix energetics classes that I took. Before he was in the womb to every one that I was in, he was always in the back of the room flipping through the book. He was so funny like that, and doing little energetic healing stuff on people. But they so need it now. What are you up to these days? Like, how are you doing it these days?
Well, because of COVID, I then stopped going into schools. So I've done a lot actually I've worked with adults. But what I've also done is I started with a wonderful colleague of mine, Claire Gasson. We've started this thing called EduEase for schools. So it comes from educational ease. So easing education, making it easier. That's how we came up with the name. And really, it's about making education easier, helping children in lots of different ways. So we want to create like an educational hub. So we want to bring people in as well. So like other professionals that can really help children on all sorts of different levels, not just academically, because a lot of children have suffered with that during COVID. I mean, I became across one child who forgot to turn the page, forgotten that they have to turn the page, you know?
Probably
So
waiting
like
for it to
simple
scroll
things like
through.
that.
They're
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
using to do something.
Really, you know, and you think, wow, okay.
Wow. Wow, well,
So,
that's wonderful. So you got this EduEase, and we'll leave the link in a bit. And you got Claire helping you out, and then it sounds like you're going to bring other practitioners in to create a way where parents to plug into this and get the basics of education, and also
yeah, we want to run classes.
one to what?
One-to-one classes, so you know, for parents, for teachers, you know, like I'm also
One to one, like not like a group of kids come into one thing, but more like one to one.
I mean, yeah, lots of different things. So basically the world is oysters because you can take this everywhere. We are still, you know, sort of exploring different avenues, but that is, you know, there are so many possibilities where we could take this.
Oh, this is good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, also years ago, the same guy, my little boy, he had a problem with reading, and we were at Montessori school, and the Montessori school teachers said he's really smart, he's good with math, he's great socially, he's like great. They just couldn't figure out why he couldn't get this reading part right. He had a funny way of doing a couple of things, and so we went and got tested in the regular school systems. And after all these tests, we met with the psychologist and the teacher and all this stuff. And they said, okay, well, he's really smart. He's really good with math. He's great socially. He's got great motivation. He's got this glitch when he reads like this, and it's this certain kind of thing. And we're like, yeah, that's him. And so they said, yeah, so we're going to bring him in 4 hours a day into the public schools, and we can work on them. And so I said, okay, cool. Well, how long does it take to fix this thing up? And the teacher looked at me and said, oh no, he's going to have this for the rest of his life. He'll have this in college. And I was like, what? So even before we got out to the truck in the parking lot, I told my wife, Jen, I said, Jen, somebody has fixed this. And so she got online, and he was actually from England. She found a guy who described our little boy's thing perfectly to a T. And he had it as a kid, and then he still became an engineer. But then he had 2 boys, and they had the exact same thing, and he described it as the exact same little glitch in reading. And so he devised a whole online thing. If anybody wants it, let me know, and I don't know the name of it right now, but I can find it and I can guide you to it. And it was these little video games, and it was really cool. And he had this British accent, and it was fun, and you won rewards for like doing it. And so we bought it. And within weeks, Ben was way better. And within a few months, it was gone. And the teachers at Montessori were like, wow, this is good. Now, this guy was an engineer. He wasn't a teacher. He didn't have all those degrees that those people had, but he knew how to fix something. And he did. And thank God he got it out to the marketplace, because I knew somebody had fixed this thing. And so you've got something that I think is very needed right now. There's a lot of families scrambling and struggling, and they have no idea what to do, because some of the systems that used to be just taken for granted, and I'm talking the school systems, man, they do not look like a good option right now, the way what they're doing. And I don't need to talk all political and all, but my God, there's a lot of people looking. And so you've got this system, and I just think it's so needed. What would you tell people? It's like I'm already sold on this whole thing, and I want to get it out to everybody as an option, because we're looking at like, well, what resources do we want, and how, you want to teach the basics, but you want also, just the most important thing is to have happy kids. And my little boys, they you don't have to like get them to try to learn. They're learning machines. They're learning, they're exploring, they're delving into projects, they're like working on stuff all the time. And so the most important thing is just to get out of the way and help them guide to whatever's their project is. I just think it's so important. Anything, if you were to talk to these families, what would you tell them right now?
Well, I would say to them, if you would like some tools and, you know, because you find that you haven't got a lot, you know, and we've been really struggling, then go to EduEase for Schools. We have lots of different, you know, on our Facebook page, we have lots of different videos, where, you know, with well-being and different tools that you can hop on. And also in September, we are launching a platform with New Zenla where you then can go on different modules. So we have it all, there's a subscription. So you subscribe and then you get loads of tools. And also we hop on, you know, my friend Claire with the academic side and me with the well-being. And once a month, we do extra tuitions and different guidance. So so you would get all that by subscribing. So it's very exciting for us because it's, you know, a new project, but we've been working on this all through lockdown. So we've got lots of packages and lots of fantastic stuff that we are putting on the New Zenla platform.
That's awesome. I just posted it in the Facebook, and I'll post it on YouTube when we put it out on Facebook. That's awesome. Through this whole process, what would you say are some of the biggest epiphanies you've had, the biggest things you've learned about kids or education or families, or what have you learned through this whole thing?
Well, I've learned that the issue is never the issue.
Somehow that makes perfect sense. Somehow that makes perfect sense.
So if they come with something and then I do some digging, often it's something completely different to what they thought the problem was.
Oh, I'm going to have to write this one down. The issue is never the issue. It's like, where's my notes? There it is. The issue is never the issue. Wow. So how do you find do you need to find the issue, or do you just do your work, the issue shows up and resolves?
Yeah, well, yeah, you just, with the various tools that I teach, the issue then becomes obvious.
Oh, the issue, hey, sounds scary.
But again, another epiphany is that actually, you know, where people think, oh golly, it takes a long time, or you never know. If you go with it with an open mind, you actually might find, like with your little boy, actually it won't take very long, you know, to solve the problem. And if you come with an open mind to it, and again, we give lots of tools how you can do that, you come with an openness to it, and then actually, wow, you know, it takes very little time to actually solve the problem.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's kind of like kids are like a little forest, or you know, wild animals. Like you just put them in the right environment, and don't do things that slow them down or stop them, and just keep them relatively safe. You know, they but mostly just let them just do stuff. Just make it. They know how to live and thrive and grow and learn, and just it's kind of like the right environment. And if there's something a little stuck, just go find what that is and let that clear out. There's a reason. Even kids, what would you tell parents that are like, somebody's kid just has a real behavioral problem, or some sort of like just can't sleep through the night, or so anxious, or everybody's different, and there's probably many different causes for that, so you got to like find each person's thing. What would you tell parents that are like dealing with something that seems they don't know what to do?
Well, breathing, you know, really good thing to start with is the breathing. So there's a really easy thing that parents can do, which is called the color breathing. So when a child is, let's say, angry, I ask, okay, what color is that? And where is that in your body? And then what would it take for just to literally just breathe it out? Let's try it. You know, if you could just imagine a big balloon in front of you, and you could fill this balloon with all your anger. Let's say, what color is it? Maybe it's red, you know, and then you'd fill this balloon with all your anger that you have for whatever issue that might be. And then you let it go.
That actually feels really good right now. Yeah, I think so many times we just don't want to let any space happen, and we fill it up with a bunch of stuff and keep trying to fix something. And it's been said, you know, just let go. That's really wonderful. Feels great.
And then I would add to that, so what would be a happy color? And then breathe in the opposite, opposite color,
Wow.
and send that to every cell in your body. And then double that feeling, triple that feeling, send that to everywhere on all levels, on all aspects.
That just feels so fun too. I can just see a bunch of kids out there breathing in little colored balloon and breathing out.
Yeah, I used to do this in classrooms with, lots of children as well. So I used to do groups, where they just literally all lie on the floor and do this.
You know what it reminds me of is like, I didn't watch much of this at all, but like a Mr. Rogers, like they all come in and they get a little life lesson and they get healed up while they just play little games. Wow, that's how I want my kids raised. It's like, man, this is so needed, Silky. I hope this is resonating with people because, yeah, a year or so ago, a little over a year ago, we had to decide what are we going to do. And to tell you the truth, we didn't want to go to that Montessori school anymore. And part of it was because we started to see what they were teaching on who they were level was not what we wanted to be having our children around anymore. Because I'm not going to go all political and health department-ish right now. It's just that we saw an opportunity for the school people to rise up and really show these children through example integrity, real integrity, and really looking at truth and really questioning and going to their own truth. And they just dropped the ball. They literally just dropped the ball and just followed in line with these things that look awful. And so, we thought, well, we got into Montessori school because we wanted choice and we wanted to have our boys to explore the world and to figure out what they want to do and then figure out how to get there and to teach each other and learn from each other. And it's like, wow, they just dropped the ball. They really literally dropped the ball. And so it's like, it can be scary to not just do what we've been doing for the past, decades in public school. I went to public school and all, but your model, it's like, well, it's definitely not the usual school. But ultimately it's like for us, we're like, what do we really, really want? When we were figuring out what to do, and we homeschooled last year with some families, and everybody's like, well, how do we do this? What are we going to teach? And we're thinking of getting a teacher, and we did get a really wonderful teacher. And I just, I had us all take a step back and say, well, let's say the whole year goes by. Looking back on the year, what will we want our children to have gotten out of this? And I was like, well, I want them to be happy and doing something that excites them and going for it and learning stuff. Yes, but that's what I want. And so we designed our thing around that. And we're in a situation where, well, we don't really have a place to we moved actually to do that version again. And but so we're looking, and then Jen and I decided, well, we're gonna definitely, Jen's gonna be around the boys and they're gonna go have some fun. Because that's one thing that's missing these days is it's gotten really, really not fun. And children should be having fun. And I think, maybe I will get a little bit political, but I'm like, we got to quit taking the fun out of being a child and let them play and let them experience life and let them take a chance and let them be sad and have anger and then have mechanisms to work through it, but without making it wrong, and then help them see, well, what are you interested in? Well, let's go figure out how to do that, and it sounds like you have a way. We're in a whole new world, and I think it's uncharted, but it's also a big opportunity to see how do you want to raise your kids? Like, what do you want to do? And I think a nice way to think about it might be, well, after a year from now, what do you want as the result? I don't know about anybody else, but I want my boys to be happy and to be excited about life. They're already excited about life. They're already have all these, they're always working on a project. take days off. So I'd just like your thoughts on, because you're doing big things, and you found a way to help some families. This is not for everybody. Some people are going to want to just do what they're told and do what everybody says and follow suit with how it's been the last decades. Who are you talking to? Yeah, you've got something special here. Yeah, I'm just going to say, and the stage is yours. Talk to people. This is really good. I'm going to
yeah, so it's for parents who found that the tools that I've been using have not been working. They could be academically, emotionally. So this is where we come in and provide something, give them something different, and try it out. It either is for you or it's not, and that's fine too, but just see something else, So we've come up with lots of different packages. So just see whether there is something there. Actually, yes, this resonates with me. So that's really what we're about. Just giving people options, and just see and bringing other people in as well. So it's not just Claire or myself, it's also bringing other specialists in to have a hub, create a hub where we really,
Yeah, it's like the beginning. Yeah. This is like, you've been doing this kind of work for years, and this eduease,
yeah,
or school.co.uk is it's going even bigger. There's going to be more there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we just want to give more options, because we both feel that the education system has been stuck, and we really want to change it, bring it, open it up, and give people more choices, and exploring what how can we do this, how we can do things better, academically, emotionally, on all levels, just helping parents, helping staff. A lot of teachers aren't coping, they get stressed. They have to suddenly do all these extra work because they had to record all the stuff, because I'm still in touch with teachers. So they are very stressed. So we have a program for stressed teachers as well, helping teachers adapt to the situation.
Wow. So it's also for teachers that are maybe having to bow out or really frustrated. It's
very stressed, overwhelmed. So that's where we come in and, run workshops online. We've been doing everything online. And also movement. We've got something called Feldenkrais.
Oh, we love Feldenkrais. I love Feldenkrais.
Oh, right. Okay. So we do this as well. So I'm a Feldenkrais teacher also. So we've been doing Feldenkrais classes. Yeah. Oh, wow. Because that's so good, because a lot of people don't know about Feldenkrais. But I think
it's not a Christian religious thing. It's a guy, Moshe Feldenkrais. I used to have Feldenkrais practitioners working in my office in San Diego for years. And I've had thousands of hours of Feldenkrais done for me. Elizabeth Berenger is one of my people that worked on me, and then I had a bunch of them work in my office, and they'd work on me every week, once or twice a week, and I would do that's a type of movement therapy that you can do on yourself with different little movements, and you can also have a practitioner do it for you, and it's the most gentle, strangely gentle thing. I say strangely because it's like they're doing what appears like nothing, or your movements appear like not much of anything. And then you move so much better, and it solves a lot of stuff. It was one of the things that helped me get over anxiety.
Yes. Yeah. So it combines really well with the other stuff that we do. And we have that on our website, on our, new Zenler as well. Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah.
So you can access
that is a wonderful, just on its own, that's a wonderful system.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, this is cool. What have been some of the biggest things you've seen that have shifted for, without divulging private stuff that you can't share? What are some of the results you've seen with kids or families?
it's just really anxiety, you know, when they were literally holding their breath and affected their posture and, you know, and their whole body, and actually seeing them take a breath again, you know, and really kind of, oh, I can let go of all the anxiety, especially in the last 2 years. And actually I can breathe again. Wow, I feel taller again. I can, you know, wow, I can, you know, wow, this feels different, you know, because it really blocks on so many levels, you know, when you carry all that around with you. I always say to children when they used to come in, I say, wow, your rucksack is really heavy again today. You know, it's like a rucksack where we carry all this stuff around with us, you know, and you can see it in people's postures. You can see it the way they talk. You know, I love people watching, and I see the way they move, the way they talk, where they keep it, you know, and I have learned all of this from various teachers, and it's just, and that's really where we want to help. And that's where I've seen some of the biggest shifts with anxiety. Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Feldenkrais practitioners' eyes are so evolved. The stuff that you guys can see is just incredible. And the shifts that can happen. Wow. Wow. What's been the biggest shift for you going through this journey so far?
For me personally, I think it's for me, it's like that sadness that I used to carry around, and really Teresa helped me a lot with that, with where
Talking about Teresa
yeah,
Sage.
just accepting. Sorry.
You gotta look up Teresa Sage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So she helped me a lot with accepting, because a lot of people don't accept things that happen to them. And that is when I lost my first husband, it took me a long, long time to really accept that. And I think when we accept something, we let go, you know, and this is how it is. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people hang on, and energetically, then the energy gets trapped. So if you can accept something, then you have new options. You know, I can accept, I can forgive, I can let go, and then other options, other choices can come in.
Yeah.
So I think, so really, and it's that gratitude process that I teach all my students and clients, where really you wake up first thing in the morning and you think of 5 things that you're grateful for.
Wow.
And then what you're grateful for, then more stuff can come in. So we always say, where attention goes, energy flows.
We say the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is it. That seems to be one of the big secrets of life. But attention without labeling and judging and criticizing. And when you say acceptance, I can tell it's not about like resigning to the idea that this is just the way it is. It's like, no, this is just what's going on right now, and this is what's happening, and accepting that, and then doing stuff too. But yeah, wow, we definitely talk the same language, and you found a way to turn it into a way to work with children and be with children and help families. So let me just go say the name of that again. I put it in the link, and I'll put it in YouTube too. EDUEASE, the number 4 schools.co, that's co.uk. That's wonderful. Man.
Yeah, and Edu for Schools is the Facebook.
Oh yeah, it's a Facebook. Yeah. And well, I'm gonna that is awesome.
And you know, you asked me earlier what really gives me, you know, like this kind of, wow, this is why I do this. It's when a child smiles, you know, when a child can smile again. I've worked with a lot of children who just got used to the darkness and forgot to smile, you know. And then when you work with a child and they can smile again, and there's that, you know, that spark again in their eyes, then that's why I do the work.
That's so true, man. Oh man, yeah. One of my clients from a long time ago, she became a painter while she was working with me, and she drew this, and I think of it as like that little elephant, the little bitty elephant. You can tell The papa
Yeah.
elephant is all serious, and the mama elephant's got a lot of stuff on her plate, and the little baby elephant is. So I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, well, I think that's what I want for my boys. That's how they showed up in life, and that's what they've been up to. And yeah, I think it's time to see how what kind of life we want. And you're doing great work. I hope to talk with you more and more and learn more about, because I know you also have stuff for love relationships, like husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, just, personal relationships. So that's because that you could tell that kind of work that you're doing is useful for everybody. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be like, man, I want to go back in time and go to Silky's school. Yeah, Silky, thank you. This has been so cool, and it is so needed. It's just so important right now, because children
Thank
are.
you so much, Ralph, for having me. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much, because it's a real passion of mine. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, I think we're going to do a lot together. I know we will. So let me just go ahead and click out of the Facebook thing, and then I'll keep us on for just a second. So if anybody wants to talk with Silky, just drop her a message. She's on that Facebook page. It's in the link, and it'll be on YouTube as well. eduease4schools.co.uk. And you can always find me, click on my link, and I'm at a bunch of different places. But if you're an entrepreneur or dealing with anxiety and stress and need to know how to clear this stuff in you, let me know, because that's what we're up to. And let's get out there, let's heal ourselves and heal the world. The world needs us to show up now. All right, you guys, let me just click.